What is up there everyone, it's the guy from the Gamertech here, and today I've got some gameplay analysis on Rainbow Six Siege. This is a game I got, it's a casual match, so it's not going to be the highest quality of gameplay, but it was an interesting game because I think it's relevant for talking about trying to read your enemies. Now in this first round, my team gets absolutely blitzed. I personally picked Mira because I was really hoping we were going to go to the bottom floor because Mira is incredibly strong for that site, but we ended up on the ground floor playing in Archives. Now I set up my Miras and I was watching through the main lobby. Unfortunately, it seemed that a lot of our team was focusing on that area and the enemies just snuck up from underground and just went straight into the biohazard room, and they secured the container no problem. This was a real issue for us because they played incredibly aggressively for the first round and our team just hadn't been prepared for it. We just had no counter for it. Now this would normally lead someone to then playing incredibly defensively on the second round. If you're playing against an aggressive team, the last thing you want to do is start running in and get caught with your pants down. Now this was true for the second round. I definitely did play relatively passively, and this is in part a good move, and in another way it could have also been a bad move. You'll notice at the beginning of the round their team's Bandit, he ran out on the underground tunnels, which is an incredibly aggressive move. This showed me that they are still playing aggressive. This is an aggressive team and that's their tactic to try and win this game. So I had to play a bit more smart, I had to play a bit more methodically. As a result, I did play this round a lot slower. Now, there is a fine line here. You can play slowly and tactically and try and sweep through an area to try and clear out any of the roamers, because that is one of the main things you have to do when you're dealing with an aggressive team. You've got to clear out the roamers, at the very least force them back to the site. You don't want them being able to get a last minute flank on you and completely ruining your push onto the objective. But at the same time, if you play too slowly like my other teammate did, you'll find yourself a floor above the objective with 10 seconds to get there and no physical way of winning the round. That's the situation you do not want to find yourselves in. You need to play passive aggressive. You need to be methodical about your push and you make sure you're droning out where you're going, but at the same time you need to be smart about it. You need to be playing fast enough that you are giving yourself time to actually push onto this objective. Now I got really lucky on this round. Where I was stunned and gooed at the same time, I managed to just about get the kill on the Legion. That was pretty much down to having the FAMAS. It's a very high RPM weapon and does a lot of damage. So I got incredibly lucky in that gunfight, but it did mean we could ultimately win the round. And as I said, my other teammate was a floor above me. We had 10 seconds to go and he was absolutely nowhere. Now, if I had played this round a little bit faster, I would have given myself a much larger time to be able to drone out the objective, because if I hadn't and I'd had to actually push in over this deployable shield, I would have had a rude awakening. There were 2 goo mines on the floor which would have stunned me. There was also a concussive mine on the roof which would have completely disoriented me, and at the same time I had to vault over this shield, so my aim down sight accuracy would have been a bit questionable in this scenario. Fortunately for me, the Mira peaked and I managed to take her out. Now at this point, I've had a chance to read what the enemy's team's doing. I've realised they aren't going to let up. They are an aggressive team. So my tactic then is I've got to try and slow them down. I've got to try and dampen their parade and make it so they have to start questioning each move they do. I need to distract them so they take a lot longer to get to the objectives, and it gives my team a lot longer to try and take them out. So I decided to play Ella. The reason for this, she's got concussive mines, she's a 3-speed operator, and I can also use the barbed wire. The barbed wire will slow down anyone who's walking through it, and the concussive mine will greatly disorient the enemies. Now unfortunately we have to defend the same objective we defended in the first round. This puts the odds against us because we had a very unsuccessful defense last time. So what I do is I make sure that I put barbed wire in the entries that they came from last time. They'll either come from the alley or from underground again, because that was what worked for them last time, so why wouldn't they try and do that again? I then place all my mines inside the objective, so once they've pushed in, they are going to get concussed. They're going to find it very difficult to win a gunfight if any of my teammates are inside that objective. And what's more, it also gives people a chance to sneak in because they won't be able to hear as clearly. Now, at the start of the round, I get incredibly lucky. My intention here was to put myself in an aggressive position. I was going to be close to the objective so I could run back if needed, but at the same time I needed to hold an aggressive position. So once they tried to run in and get a rush on into the objective, I could pick them off. This very nearly went catastrophically wrong, but actually it worked in my favour. The enemy team ended up team killing each other and I managed to pick off another enemy. I then stay here a bit longer. This was a questionable decision. I wasn't really sure how to play it. I knew they were coming from that direction, but I didn't want to commit to a flank because all it would have taken was for them to then rush the objective, and I could have been half the map away, which would then been a disaster. So I stuck in this position. I managed to damage another one of their teammates. At this point, I decide I need to back off. I don't think I can win another gunfight. I'm at quite low health. I then get the mother of all panic knives on this IQ. I feel really bad for them because genuinely that was a panic. I hit the wrong button. I was trying to lean and I hit the knife button, but who cares? I got the kill and it helped me on this round. At this point, I'm then flanking. I decide I'm going to go back to the objective. At the moment, we have the man advantage, so it makes sense to go back to the objective. I managed to just about scrape this gunfight against the Twitch. How I did that as well, I don't know. I did get incredibly lucky this round, but I will credit part of it is my aggression. I made my own luck by countering their strategy and playing equally aggressively. So in this case, we did end up picking up the round win. I will just say at the end, where I then rotated offside, I seemed to be going for another flank back the way I came. Actually, in retrospect, I don't think I should have done that, because if the enemy had picked off my other teammate, they would have gone into the objective. I would then have been too far away to contest it, so I would have lost the round. But fortunately, my teammate picked up the kill, and it did work in this instance. Now, then we go on to the third round. This one was a misplay by me. I decided I'm going to get a bit more aggressive. It seemed to work out. Playing aggressively worked in that defense. However, when you're attacking, this is a large map. There are a lot of places people can roam, and I get caught out by the Jaeger. They held a good angle and they got a quick kill onto me. So I take a step back and I give it a bit more of a think, because the first round we played defensively, we got killed by an aggressive team. The second round, defense almost worked for the enemies, but we managed to pull through. In the third round, I played aggressively and it helped our team win. So at this point, the enemy team are still playing aggressively. They're still roaming. They're still trying to pick us off at awkward angles. So I can't let off. I do need to still pressure them. I need to make them double check everything, to make them doubt whether they've actually checked everything clearly enough. So I decide to play Ella again in the next round. And it does work out in the end. I keep playing aggressively, I go on some flanks, and it does pay off. Now, the reason I'm talking about this as a topic is that it's a weird skill that you need for this game. You need to be able to understand how people are playing it so you can best counter their strategies. I can't tell you the amount of times that I've gotten too caught up on what I did wrong, what I think I did wrong in a round, rather than thinking more proactively is how can I beat them? What do I need to do to counter what they are doing? How are they playing as a unit? Are they actually mixing up? Do they have a strong presence of roamers, or are they more focusing on anchoring on the objective? That's a key skill I need to develop, and I know a lot of people also. I've been playing in silver, gold matches in ranked, and it's a skill a lot of players need to develop. So hopefully by going through my mindset as I was playing this game, it might help other people see where they can learn and where they can start reading enemies. There are some more basic ones. For instance, if you find yourself at the man disadvantage and the enemies are all roaming around, the best thing you can do really is just go straight onto the objective. It's the last thing they would expect. They would expect you to play very defensively, so if you do a very aggressive push onto the objective, you might well pull it off. Now, that's not guaranteed to get you a win. I can't tell you the amount of times I've made that play and lost it, but it's probably the most sensible play you can make, because the only thing you can do in that situation is be unpredictable. That's the main thing. That's the counter to this mindset in a way. I'm almost destroying the point of the video, is that you need to be able to read the enemies, but the best way to stop yourself being read is to be unpredictable. So I do hope you found this useful and perhaps learned something from it. It's something that I really need to up my game with, because I need to focus more on how to beat the enemies rather than what I did wrong. I need to be a bit more proactive and more positive in the game, so I will play better. But I do hope you've enjoyed the video. This has been the guy from the Gamertag, and I'll see you on another video.